What is a survival myth that is completely wrong and could get you killed? If you ever find yourself in snake country, make as much noise as possible. Most people want to avoid snakes, so stay quiet, but they are more scared of you than you are of them. Talk loudly, stomp, but obviously keep an eye and ear out for any fellas who don't want you to be there. Source: Australian. Yeah, Louisiana swamp person here. Make some noise and most hazards will avoid you without you even knowing they were there. Hiking in Canada as a kid, I was afraid that bears would get me. My dad laughed and said as noisy as I was, I would probably never see a bear in my life. I was always told this as well, and then one time I went camping, used the public showers they had set up there, stepped out, and saw a baby bear just staring at me. Didn't even bother looking for mama bear, I just went back into the showers. Follow flying birds to find water. They can simply be flying to spend a night anywhere, so we can't rely on them. Fish are the ones you should follow to find water. Sucking a snake bite, it will often make it worse. Australian doc here. There is so much misinformation on here. What you want to do is stop the venom from traveling from the site of the bite into the lymphatic system and then into the bloodstream. Do not suck, cut, wash or otherwise investigate the wound. Edit. Do not try to catch or kill the snake. Identifying the kind of snake is not worth the risk of a second bite and the delay in getting to your other priorities. Priority 1. Get away from the snake. Priority 2. Get help. Get someone nearby to call an ambulance or worst case scenario call yourself. Edit. Leaving this here because it's hilarious. Priority 3. Stay still. Moving your muscles is what helps pump the fluid through your lymphatic system and to the lymph nodes, where it can enter the bloodstream quickest. Ideally keep the bite below your heart, but immobilization is the most important thing. Priority 4. If there is someone with you, get them to apply a pressure dressing to tightly compress the whole limb. This can greatly slow the flow of lymph and buy you hours. The issue with a tourniquet, as opposed to full limb compression, is that you're not actually preventing the spread of lymph up the limb. Taking the tourniquet off then becomes very risky for a sudden influx of venom into the central circulation, and has serious risks of permanent damage and loss to the limb. Typo corrected from LB. Edit. I can only speak for what to do. Australian snakes. Other areas obviously have different species and perhaps correspondingly different guidelines. If you are doing outdoorsy crap in other continents, make sure you know basic first aid relevant to that specific location. You do not need to wait 24 hours to report a missing person. If you think someone is missing, report it as such. The faster a missing person report is filed, the greater the chance the person will be found. Especially if it's a child. Missing children are at high risk during the first 24 hours, especially if abducted. In 76% of child abduction murders, the victim was dead within 3 hours. 88.5% were dead in the first 24 hours. It's actually a felony in some states to fail to report a child missing after a certain amount of time. Rescue breaths are wildly overrated in most movies and TV shows. You'll see someone in cardiac arrest, and the rescuer will stop giving compressions and focus on breathing into a person's mouth and blammo. Awake, alert, alive. Nope. Don't do that. Your body does store a fairly decent amount of oxygen in its blood at all times. If someone in front of you odds and their mouth is covered with saliva, vomit, or someone collapses in front of you with a suspected cardiac arrest, your plan of action is twofold. 1. Are they breathing? Do they have a pulse? This is easy to duck up, especially in a moment of panic. My rule, as an EMS provider, is that if you don't feel it in 10 seconds, it's not there. Start compressions. If they are not in cardiac arrest, they will let your ass know, and the law covers you under Good Samaritan clauses in most of these cases. 2. If you are the only person attending to this body, do not stop and give rescue breaths if help is on the way and will be there soon. It takes about 4-7 decent compressions to get blood recirculating in the body after stopping to give mouth to mouth. That's a lot of blood, carrying a lot of vital oxygen reserves that aren't making it to the brain. Obviously, if you're a long way out from help and you feel safe to do so, give rescue breaths. But it should never be priority number 1. BTW, if you hear ribs crack, make a face, make vomit noises. If you have to, tell the person their bones are ducking grossing you out, but don't stop compressions. Because what are compressions? That's right. They are number ducking 1. I work in an A patient went suddenly unresponsive after standing up to get onto a cart. We weren't sure if we felt a pulse or not, but our 10 seconds was up, so my co-worker started compressions. Or I should say, compression, singular. She delivered a single, high-quality compression, and he immediately screamed and threw his arms and legs up. Turns out his BP dropped when he stood up, causing him to pass out, and was so low, we couldn't even feel a carotid pulse. I told that co-worker I want her doing my compressions should I ever need them. Closest I can think of is brace yourself if you are about to get in an accident. Try to go limp. You are more likely to walk away with minor injuries if you go limp. That's how drunk drivers survive crashes. Heard a story of a guy who got caught up in a tornado. Right before the tornado sucked him in, he got hit in the face with a vase, which knocked him unconscious. The tornado then threw him onto the ground a couple miles away. He survived with only some minor scratches and bruises. Don't eat snow to stay hydrated if you're in a winter survival situation. Losing the heat to the snow while eating it is more dangerous than dehydration. Heat it up or let it melt in a container first to lose less heat. If you have fire and a pot, put ice in it, not snow. It is cleaner and more dense than snow, i.e. you get more water out of it. Edit. Not sure about the cleanliness of ice versus fresh snow. But we are still talking about boiling that water. And my main argument, that you get more volume of water from ice than from snow, still stands. Edit 2. It's only an argument I heard somewhere else, so this could be one of those survival myths. Everyone who disagrees, yes, it could be that I'm totally wrong on this one. Don't know why it got so many upvotes. One I know of is the myth that you can drink water from a cactus. I heard it's false and you can only drink from a small minority of cacti without having certain health consequences I am not aware of. Coconut water, though, that's supposed to be pretty damn safe. My issue with that is I can't imagine both dying of thirst and being in good enough condition to crack a coconut at the same time. You have to have trained a seagull to carry the coconut super high up and drop it onto the beach. The sand will be like concrete at that height and the coconut will crack in half. Which is how you get the water. Drinking alcohol to stay warm. You sweat, your blood will rush to your skin and you will freeze die much faster. Edit. People seem curious about this. Here is a good link. Not to mention it thins your blood. I remember reading about the Royal Navy giving rescued sailors during the Battle of the Atlantic rum to warm them up. Their survival rate was hugely improved when they stopped. The thinning of blood doesn't play as a big a factor as does your blood vessels dilating. This in turn causes increased blood flow near the surface of the skin, which heats your skin up. This becomes a problem because of the way your skin and ultimately your body regulates temperature. Your skin has thermosensors, but they don't just detect temperature intuitively, but rather through the rate at which heat can be transferred to from you. That is why you can touch two separate things of different material, i.e. metal and cloth, which are at the same temperature and yet you'll perceive one as cold or hotter than the other. The metal is transferring heat from you faster than cloth, so would feel cold. Now because alcohol sort of sabotages this mechanism by indirectly heating up your skin from increased blood flow, your skin isn't actually able to accurately detect the difference in temperature between the air and yourself. As a result, you feel warm but in reality are losing heat faster than you would have had you not drank. I can think of multiple. Basic wilderness survival is required to be taught where I live. Don't drink your pee if you're thirsty. It's high in salt and will make you more dehydrated, just like ocean water. Eating snow when you're thirsty is also bad. It lowers your core temperature and you can become hypothermic. Don't play dead with all bears. Depends on the bear, some will definitely duck your shit up if you play dead. Grizzly bears stand your ground and back up slowly. If it becomes irritated, get into the fetal position and cover your neck and play dead. Black bears throw rocks and sticks at it and make a lot of noise. From my experience, black bears are skittish and run away. Polar bears back away slowly to safety. If they attack, defend yourself by any means necessary. Remember to always carry bear spray or a gun if you're in bear country. Edit. Thank your silver, kind stranger. Somebody told a story in an AskReddit for park rangers about stupid tourists. This one guy said that they told all the tourists to have bear spray with them. One family thought it was like off for mosquitoes and maced themselves. What idiots, not knowing what mace is. I always carry my steel mace when in bear territory. What is a survival myth that is completely wrong and could get you killed? Leave it in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.